Welcome back everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make individually smoked Asian style pork ribs. All right, we're going to get started by setting our smoker up. We're just going to use the standard Bronco drum. We're going to start by taking our cooking grate and heat deflector out. Then you want to fill your charcoal basket up with either lump charcoal or briquettes. Then you want to bury a fire lighter in there and light it up. All right, now while our charcoal's catching light, we're going to prepare our pork ribs. We're going to be using some baby back pork ribs today, but if you want to use another style of pork ribs to follow along with this recipe, that is absolutely fine. Now I have noticed I've already removed the membrane off this one, so we don't really need to do too much. All I'm going to do is take a little bit of silver skin and excess meat off the bottom. And then like I said, we want to slice these into individual ribs. So I'm just going to tidy up this end. Now you can leave the rack whole, but like I said, we're slicing these into individual ribs and that's really going to help speed up this cooking process. You should pretty much halve our cooking time. So it is a good method if you're a bit time poor and you still want to have pork ribs. And now our pork ribs are sliced up. We just want to get some mustard, or you can use some olive oil just to give them a light coat, which is going to help our rubs stick to the meat. And then I'm going to season our ribs in a combination of my honey soy slammer and spicy steak shooter. So we're going to start with the honey soy slammer as it's a much finer rub. Make sure you mop up any rub you've spilt on the cutting board. And then we're just going to top off with steak shooter spicy. Again, we're just going to mop up any rub we've got on the cutting board. And now these are ready to go once our smoker's up to temperature. All right, now our briquettes have caught light nicely. We can shut our lid, open up both of our vents, and then we'll let our barbecue come up to temperature, which for this cook, we're going to look to hold it at around 250 Fahrenheit or 120 Celsius. All right, now we're up to temperature. We'll open our lid, and I'm going to get a beautiful little chunk of nectarine wood straight on the fire, and then we can get our heat deflector back in. Then our cooking grate can go back on. Then we can get our pork ribs on. And we'll shut our lid and let these start smoking away. All right, so now our pork ribs are on. We're just going to let them go for around an hour to an hour and a half before we check on them and potentially wrap them up. What I'll be looking for is some nice color on those pork ribs and that rub to have set on them too. And all I need to do to control the temperature on this Bronco drum is just by the intake vent at the front there. If I want to increase my temperature, I'm just going to open that vent up. If I need to decrease my temperature, then I'm just going to shut it down a little bit. Temperature control is super easy on a drum smoker. That's why it's one of my favorite smokers. But now these pork ribs are smoking away nicely. We'll let them go and we'll check back in once we're a bit further into this cook. All right, so our pork ribs have been going for a little over an hour now. These have actually got some really nice color to them. That rub's set nice as well. So I reckon what we can do now is wrap these up. All right, so we're going to get all of our ribs into a foil tray. Then we're going to go down with some butter, good drizzle of honey, and then a couple tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Then we'll cover our tray in foil, and we'll get it back in the smoker and shut our lid. All right, so now our pork ribs are wrapped up and in that tray. We're simply going to take them until they're nice and tender. I'm going to check on these after about 45 minutes. If I'm not happy with them, I'll just wrap that tray back up and let them keep going until I am happy with the tenderness. I reckon this will be around a 2 to 2.5 hour cook. But if I left that rack whole, I reckon we would have been looking at around a 3 to 3.5 hour cook. Then once I'm happy with these pork ribs, those wrap juices are going to form the base of our Asian style sauce we're going to make later on. So for now, we'll let these pork ribs go and we'll check back in soon. All right, and after about 40 minutes wrapped up, let's check on our ribs. Well, they are looking good. Well, it's feeling very tender actually. I might check the internal temperature, 93-ish degrees Celsius. Or 205 Fahrenheit. And that there's one of the thickest ones. It's very soft back there. I reckon these are done. So we're only just 2 hours into this cook, and these pork ribs are nice and tender already. So what we're going to do now is just take that foil off. Like I said, we're going to use the wrap juices from this tray. So we're just going to take our pork ribs back out, get them onto this grate. We want to bring our tray over to the cutting board. We'll shut this lid, and I'm just going to place our tray on top of our burner. I'm not going to turn it on just yet. And now I want to grate in around a teaspoon worth of ginger, around a tablespoon worth of freshly grated garlic, around a teaspoon of sesame oil, a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and a tablespoon of rice wine vinegar. Then we can turn our heat on, and then we just want to let that simmer for a few minutes, mix that all together. And then this sauce is done. All right, and then you can have a taste, adjust it to your liking. If you want it a little bit sweeter, then you can add some brown sugar or some more honey. If you want it a bit more savory, you can add some more soy sauce. But for now, we're just going to turn our heat off and take this tray back to our smoker. Then we'll open our lid, and then we're just going to get our pork ribs back in, meat side down. Then we'll get the tray back in the smoker, we'll shut our lid. We want to let them cook for around 15 to 20 more minutes. We want that sauce to reduce and thicken up a little bit, and then these are pretty much ready. All right, now it's only been just over 10 minutes. I really can't wait much longer. What I want to do now is just give these a light little toss in that sauce, get them nice and completely coated. The sauce is starting to reduce nicely, so I reckon I'll just let these go for another 5 or 10 minutes and we'll come back to serve them. All right, it's been another 5 or 10 minutes. I cannot wait any longer. I'll give these one last toss in the sauce, and then we'll bring them over to the cutting board to finish them off. And if you wanted to, once you've taken the pork ribs out, you could always further reduce that sauce and drizzle it over at the end, but this is going to have plenty of flavour in it. So what I'm going to do now, like I said, is take them over to the cutting board. All right, now we just want to finish them off with some sesame seeds and spring onion. And now we can have a taste. They are so tasty and they were done so quick as well. I reckon that was just over 2 hours for this cook. As you can see, bites away from the bone with ease. And as you can see, we're left with a nice clean bone. Well, there you have it. There's how to make individually smoked Asian style pork ribs. So quick and easy to do. I'll put everything you need to know, including the recipe, down in the description below. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments below. But for now, I'm going to go enjoy the rest of these. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.